Shalom, 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 Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat Thumb to all the warriors out there. Yahweh Shemara Thumb by Shem Yahweh Shah to all the sisters out there. I'm Officer 500 out of y'all. Joining with me is Trooper Darash. We from, you understand, Canada. I'm from Montreal, Canada. Trooper Darash is from Toronto, Canada. We over here with the ISUPK. ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. You understand? We started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the guidance of Commandant General Yahanna.
Right.
And we are here to tell the truth about the Bible. You understand? We see the Bible as like an ordinary book, like a literal book, but we go to church and everything, but we never knew exactly what was the truth of the Bible. We never understood the Bible. We go to church and the pastor and the preachers, they're never gonna say what is the Bible about. But over here in the ISPK, we tell you exactly the truth about the Bible. We tell you the real thing that you need to know about the Bible. We tell you the condition of our people, why we in this condition, the Black, Latinos, and Native Indian, why we in the condition that we in, and the solution. That's what we do in the ISPK. We're not like the ordinary churches that you go to, but we are the school of Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal and Practical and Knowledge. We the ISPK. Joining with me is Officer Aban. Officer Aban, you could Shalom, Officer Aban. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat. What's going on, Hakim?
Everything to wow, sir.
Everything good to go? All right, give me 1 second. Officer Adi, I'm going to send you one more email to send an invite to.
Concept.
If everyone can hear and see, press 1. Press 1 if you can hear and see. Is there any reverb? Do you hear any reverb from my voice?
Nah, sir. Everything to wow on my part, sir.
All right, we're good to go. All right, so let's get it started. Officer Adiar, we'll first send that invite if you can, Baba Kushad, and then all those articles that I sent to you, message to you, have them pulled up. All right, clap it up. And as usual, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the authority of Commanding General Yahanna, all right, who's the leader of the nation of Israel under the one the world calls Christ Yahweh Shah. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started, get into it. All right, mass shooting in Nova Scotia, deadliest mass shooting in Canadian history just happened. You got a damn virus kicking the world's economy in the teeth, okay? You got the stage set for World War III. Donald Trump just put an order out saying, giving the United States Navy the order to destroy those little Iranian speedboats. So you already know what it is. You know what's going on. Others that are in the truth. All right. Adiar, once you send the invite, post the sign-in link as well before you get the articles. All right.
The sign-in link is already there, sir.
Okay, okay, live comments. Okay. Okay, I see it. All right. All right. So, any questions first? I'll get a few questions in the beginning, but then I'm going to go into my topic. All right.
Salakia, sir, are you taking any kind of question now?
Yeah, just one. Just one. Then I'm going to go into the topic.
I had a question about scripture. Did you want me to bring it out now or later?
You can do it now.
Okay. I had a question about Deuteronomy chapter 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring it out. It's Deuteronomy 11 and verse 12. And it reads, a land which the Lord thy God careth for, the eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. So my question was, what does that mean? The eyes of the Lord are on it, like from one year, from one end of the year to the other, like.
Okay, if the eyes of if you're looking at something, right? Let's say you're looking at a plot of land. What will you know? What can't happen to that land without you knowing it?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing. So, in essence, when the Lord's saying His eyes are on it, meaning He'll be with the land. He'll be protecting it. You get my point?
Sir.
That land that they're talking about in Deuteronomy, the 11th chapter, is the Garden of Eden.
Okay,
that's the Garden of Eden. Go ahead.
So okay, right. So Salakia, sir. So basically, He predestined that land to be special for us. That portion.
Well, you don't have to think of it that deeply. Just think like this, right? In the beginning, the Most High gave Adam, right, the dominion over the garden. Is that correct?
Sir.
Okay, so Adam is the one that the Lord gave the authority to give dominion to the plant, have dominion over the plants, animals, etc. Well, later on down the line, that title or that position was given to Israel. So now Israel was in the land that the Most High's eyes were upon, etc.
Okay, Khan, the water, sir.
So that's a precept for the Garden of Eden being the land of Israel or the so-called Middle East. All right.
Okay, the water, sir.
Anabar.
Salakia, can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so with that, we're going to go into terrorism / mass shooting. Give me Job 18 and 11. Obviously, as many of you know, a devil named Gabriel Wortman committed one of the greatest acts of mass murder in Canadian history. Many Canadians are shocked, they're upset, but in the ISUPK, we're not shocked. We're not shocked. This is the man we've been telling you about. We've been driving up to Montreal, driving up to Toronto, telling you about this dude. He's a maniac. He's a murderer. He is the devil. And it's been, brushed off. We'll all come to class, not show up, and stuff like that. Well, now you see just who this man is. And don't get it twisted. This isn't just going to happen in Halifax. This is going to Toronto. Acts like this are going to happen in Montreal. Why? Because this man, so-called European, he's the devil on the earth. He's the devil on the earth. And then that spirit, that's why there's no Native Indians in Toronto. Go outside in Toronto. Look to your left. Look to your right. Where are the Algonquins? Where are the Huron Indians? They're gone because of men like Gabriel Wortman. They went into Native Indian communities, and they did that to Native Indians to get the Native Indians to leave. Don't tell me you don't know what I'm talking about. The largest hanging in United States history was who? 38 Sioux Indians by Abraham Lincoln, the beloved Negro president. You get my point? That spirit of mass murder is how they got us off the land. Well, here's the problem, Canada. That spirit's still lurking around.
Right.
They had grandkids. They train their grandkids. If stuff goes wrong, you revolt, you rebel. We're not going to take it, right? We ain't gonna take it. They don't take nothing. That's what this man is. If he has a bad day, he's going to kill everybody in the school. If he has a bad day, he's going to murder. He went across Nova Scotia. 90 kilometers? Something like 62 miles on a damn rampage? And what, they're going to say there is no motive? Give me a damn break now. Give me a break. Job 18 and 11.
I have the scripture, sir.
Go ahead. I got it, sir.
Oh, Salakia.
Go ahead, Adiyar, first.
Job 18 and 11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side.
Terror shall make him afraid on every side. You see, before, the place that was the poster child of shootings in Canada was where? Regent Park. It was James Finch, right? It was Jamin Wilson.
Right.
It was Murder Peg. It was Winnipeg. And when it was us, it was, these people are terrible. We need law and order. We need justice. You're a bunch of criminals. Now, when he does it, we don't know a motive. You heard the RCMP. That was disgusting. And when I saw that, I knew, okay, this is going to continue. And they don't give a damn about it because they will not racially profile their own. They love their people. You get my point? They said, first of all, it's not a terrorism incident, which is idiotic. Absolutely idiotic. What that devil did was a terrorist incident. That was mass murder, man. That was a murderous that was grand theft auto. He running around. He in the damn RCMP vehicle, shooting people from across the highway. Like something you play on a damn video game. So here's the story. Gabriel Wortman, right? He was a denturist. Adiyar, you got that article. In 2014, he donated dentures to a woman that needed dentures. To Canadians, he would be what? He would be a good white man. He would be a good Canadian citizen. The arguments you have with West Indians, there are some good white people. There are some good Europeans. That's who they're talking about. He is a good, so-called a good Canadian. He murdered 16 people. That's your good Canadian. One day he's giving out dentures. The next day he's mass murdering. That's what Canada's all about. What he did is no different than what John Cabot did. John Cabot came to Canada, right? There were different animals running around. He wanted to kill and get pelts and furs, trade them down the St. Lawrence, etc. He had to murder the native Indians. He had to beat them to piss. Now they lying out on St. Catherine drunk on the damn concrete in Montreal, where it's colder than the bottom of Antarctica. That's what he did. That's that man. And that spirit he has is the same spirit that was in John Cabot, the same spirit that was in Hernan Cortez, the same spirit that was in Napoleon Bonaparte, who created the concentration camp, who created the gas chambers. Okay, go ask Hitler, etc. That's what this man is. Read it again.
Job chapter 18, verse 11. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side.
Terror shall make him afraid on every side. You've got Gabriel Wortman, right? You got Iran, you got China, and you got the invisible enemy. That invisible enemy is an ass kicker. That coronavirus, woo! Economy shut down. Your Edomites in panic. Slave masters, devils in panic over this invisible enemy. They've got terrors everywhere. They're afraid of Gabriel Wortman and the air. That's why you have to wear a mask, to keep the particles from the air from getting into your body. They're that damn scared. Terror shall take hold of him on every side. You want to, and let me sidebar if I could. They act like this is an isolated incident, right? He was just disgruntled, and this isn't how people act. Now, I had a question for you. Why were there no serial killers in Haiti when the French were there?
Right.
Why were there no serial killers in Jamaica and the West Indian Islands when the West Indians were there, enslaved by the English?
Right.
Because they would go into the slave quarters. They were killing you. That's why. Why were there no Ted Bundys or serial mass rapists? Because they were kicking in your cabin and taking your wife. That's what the hell was going on. That's why you don't hear about serial murderers during slavery in Jamaica, because they were running roughshod on you. That's what the hell was going on. That's why you don't hear about serial killers.
Shalom Yahbashim Yah Shai Barakatha.
Shalom Yahbashim Yah Shai Barakatha. All right? That's why you don't hear about it. That's what was going on. These people are mass murderers, man. It was said when he was committing the act, people that saw him were saying he looked totally normal, right? He looked totally normal. He was carrying, it's like he was going, like you going to get groceries. That's what he was doing, killing people. Bow, 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 bow. Oh, how you doing, Jeffrey? How you doing, Jeffrey? Murder is natural to him. You kill a Negro in Toronto, got 2 bodies. He's, oh my God, he's scary. Such and such over there got 2 bodies. They don't mess with him, eh? Your nicest white man will kill 16 people and feel no remorse about it. You are not the same as him at all. There are 2 manner of people. Remember that scripture? There's 2 manner of people.
Right.
Okay. You kill 2 people. You're the scariest Negro on the block. Wagwan. They say wagwan and run. Okay, when dealing with a Negro with 1 or 2 bodies. When your average everyday Canadian will kill 16 people. That's what he'll do. That's the spirit that's in him. Gabriel Wortman, he was a regular denturist. Hell, he made a set of dentures for a lady that was in poor health. He was a good Canadian. The people that you argue with, or the people that Benjamites or West Indians that argue with you, that's who they're talking about. He went to go murder 16 people. Terror shall overtake him on every side. Read on.
And shall drive him to his feet.
They shall drive him to his feet. Now, they got to do something about this. RCMP has to get a hold of this. And listen, Trudeau and Trump, they need to open up the slave plantation quickly. Okay, the plantation you call Canada, they need to open it up. West Indian grandmothers need to go back downtown to watching Edomite kids and nursing Arab babies and all that. They need to get back to that quickly. Are you going to have blood and guts in the street from these so-called Europeans, these slave masters, these Canadians? Okay. That's Job 18:11. Get me somebody else. Get me Isaiah 47:11 and 47:7. Isaiah 47:7. I'll take questions after I get into my the breakdown on Gabriel Wortman. All right. You better have a Darash. Matter of fact, Adi, I'll let Darash have it. All right.
Canada Wakan.
Go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever,
Mm-hmm.
so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart.
Right, they didn't lay these things to thy heart. What didn't they lay to their heart? That they had the children of Israel in slavery in Toronto. That they murdered, they wiped out the North American Indians, the First Nations. That they destroyed and murdered across the planet Earth. That they are the reason that you came to Canada. Let me take a quick poll. Why did your families come to Canada? I'm just asking a question. You guys, anyone and everyone can answer if they want to. I'll take.
If I may, sir, to have a better life we have in the island, sir.
To have a better life. Anybody else? Anything different? No.
Salakia, sir, what was the question? My internet's tripping in and out.
Yeah. Why did your family come from the West Indian Islands to Canada?
La, sir, I would say the same thing as Adiyar said. Officer Adiyar said that my family came up here assuming they would find a better situation.
Yeah, a better situation than what? A tropical island? Why is there poverty on imagine that, a tropical island? You know what you can grow there? You know the jewels, natural resources that are in many of those West Indian islands within Haiti? Not now, right? Because they cut most of the trees down in Haiti and war, etc. But now and in times past, the mineral resources, etc., were rich in those countries, and you're impoverished. Why is that? You have Canadian banks that are in the West Indian Islands that will not give loans to West Indian businesses. So the people there are poor, and in their poverty, they go to the exact place that made them poor. Canadian banks have a strong hand in the West Indian Islands, in Haiti. They were essentially given the islands by the British. The British said, okay, we're leaving. West Indians thought they were independent, when in reality, the British passed ownership of the financial ownership, if you will, of the West Indian Islands over to Canadian banks. Canadian banks will then give loans to international companies, the East Indians, the Chinese in Jamaica, right? They run Jamaica. The Chinese in Jamaica will get a loan to set up a shack. Your mom and pop beef patty place won't. They don't give loans out to native West Indians. They're more likely to give them out to international actors or international companies. And that made us impoverished. Our businesses closed down. We were poor in those countries because of Canada. And we went to the place that made us poor. Like the slave plantation is alive and well. And they thought that nothing was going to happen to them. They thought they would sit as a lady forever. They would be delicate. Read on.
Sir. Neither didst remember the latter end of it.
Yeah, they didn't remember the latter end of it. They don't remember what would happen, or even think about what would happen for murdering these people, for making sure Regent Park was impoverished, and then crying about the crime rate. When you can't get a gun in Canada, getting a gun in Canada is damn near like getting a spaceship. You get my point? The amount of hoops and hurdles you have to go through. It's like becoming an astronaut. Okay?
Right.
How are there all these guns and all these shootings in Canada? How do the criminals have all the guns?
Right.
So think if it's coming up here, guy, he would have a gun, he would have a gun, she would have a gun. All the criminals have guns. Is that an accident? Hell no, it's not an accident. But that's okay. But now that Gabriel Wortman went on a mass shooting, you have to look at his criminal background. What was his mind state like? What was his family life like? When they're not sticking a camera in front of the Negro in Regent Park, why did you kill 2 people? They don't do that. They don't go to Falstaff and ask, why did you shoot at them? Why did you go to the party and shoot it up? They don't give a damn, man. They don't give a damn. And this is why these acts are going to happen all across the planet Earth. What you're saying is the buildup to World War II. Read on. Or World War III, rather. I'm sorry.
That's the end of the verse, sir. Do you want verse 8?
Yeah, continue.
Sir. Verse 8. Therefore, hear now this. Thou art given to pleasures.
Thou that art given to pleasures. Free weed. Legal marijuana, right? I was up in Montreal. Right. I'm filming. I turn around. I see 3 X's. Erotic massage. Yikes. Time aside, you can get
Right.
love long time in Montreal. Canada is giving me pleasures, man. Canada is a rife and disgusting. It's an uncivilized empire. That's what
Right.
it is.
Con.
Read on.
Con. That dwelleth carelessly.
Dwellers carelessly. They don't give it. They didn't care about what they did to the West Indians. They made them poor, and then you got millions of West Indians coming up. You would think they'd say, "Oh, we're sorry for how our banks mishandled your finances in the West Indian Islands. We apologize, and we'll give you a $2,000 stimulus check." This should have came out from the Royal Canadian Bank. This should have came out from the Scotia Bank. 2,000, 3,000 each, descendant of so-called West Indian, or each immigrant from the West Indian Islands. They just dealt carelessly. They don't care or give a damn. Read on.
That sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
That's what they say. I am, and none else beside me. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. We're the land, of the free. We're the free, home of the free world. Read on.
I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
Right. Part of the reason why Canada and the United States are having such a prolonged response to the coronavirus is because they didn't think this was going to happen. They didn't think this was going to happen at all. A few weeks ago, Trump was saying that this was just going to blow over like a miracle. You got him talking about miracle cures. You saw what Kenneth Copeland did. They talking about blowing the wind out of it. Remember Kenneth Copeland? I, in the name of Jesus, cast you out. The devil blew at it. You think coronavirus gives a damn about your air, your breath? Come on, man. They think they're none. They don't think they'll sit as a widow. They didn't think this was going to come. They were not ready for this at all. Read on.
Verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment.
Right. You didn't think you would lose children either. They thought that gun violence was something that happened in Regent Park. They thought that gun violence was something that happened in Jane and Finch.
Right.
That it was something that happened in the projects. It was something that happened in Falstaff. Well, people of Portapique now know that it can happen anywhere, man. Read on.
God. In one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries.
Stop. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment. That was a moment, right? Saturday evening, got a call about a firearms complaint. Then boom, he going around killing people like a goddamn video game, like Grand Theft Auto. That happened in a moment. In a moment, RCMP officer dead. This cat dead. He's dead over here. He's dead over there. And I want to know, why in the hell was he going to Halifax? Why was he coming from Portapique down to Halifax? That's what I want to know. I want to see this cat. I want to see his manifesto, because more than likely it wasn't just about killing Pierre from up the block in goddamn Portapique. He was going to Halifax for one reason and one reason only. He was about to kill you. In their anger and in their frustration, they're going to take it out on black people, West Indian, Latinos, and Natives, First Nations in Canada. You're their whipping post. You're their, stress ball. When you're stressed out, you're the stress ball in Regent Park. You're the stress ball in Falstaff. They get to just squeeze you and grind you into powder to relieve themselves of their anger. They're not going to go to China. Go to China and try and mess with them. They'll punch you in the mouth, man. Go to North Korea and try and mess with them. They already tried that. Go check out the Korean conflict. They're talking about Korea is weak. Korea is not militarily able to handle it. Go back to the 1950s. You had the Chinese invaded, pushed them all the way back to the 38th parallel. That 38th, North and South Korea split where it is because the Chinese kicked the United Nations back to the 38th parallel, man. They said, all right, enough. They stopped. Talking about North Korea is weak. That's why they're not testing them. But they will test you. You're the one they will abuse because we're weak. We need the Most High, man. We need the law, statutes, and commandments. We need to gather together, okay?
Right.
Because we don't have an army. We don't have an air force. We don't have guided missiles and nuclear weapons to defend ourselves. But we do have an invisible God, an invisible power, right?
Right.
Who can send an invisible bug to take your empire out. Just like that. Boop. Everybody's indoors. Read on.
Con. And for the great abundance of thine enchantments.
Right, for the multitude of their sorceries. What were their sorceries? Telling black people that drugs were black, when it's been shown that so-called white people in Canada and the United States use more drugs than black people. You can go look that up, man. That's a damn lie. They say you were out getting high, and you got silly Negro rappers going out and pushing that nonsense. Their life is about selling fentanyl and goddamn pills. How's that going for you? Everybody's in lockdown. Who are you peddling to? Where are you going on the street to get your product? They closing borders down, man. The drug trade's getting killed also. Thank the Most High for that. The drug trade is getting crippled. Okay? That's part of their sorcery, and lying and telling you were African. The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian is famous for not paying attention in school. One of the things they made sure we got from school was that we're African. That lie. That's sorcery. You mean to tell me you and Mafoko and Congo are the same people? Hell no, man. That's ridiculous. All right. Read on.
Con, verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness.
They trusted in their wickedness. You go and tell someone about Christmas and they look at you like, huh? But it's for the kids. It's Easter's.
Right.
I know rabbits don't lay eggs. It's just for the kids like to chase candy, eat chocolate bunny rabbit eggs. It's just a tree. They trust in their wickedness. Canada. Read on.
Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee.
Right, none seeth me. I'm not killing anybody. These are just West Indians. Oh, it's just Devontae Miller. Let's knock his eyeball out. Let's beat him half to death. Nobody sees us. That's what those two damn cops over in Ontario thought when they beat Devontae Miller half to death, man. May they get stricken with the most coughing, with the strain of coronavirus, with just the right cough, with just the right amount of suffering. When the Most High put that on those two cops that beat that brother half to death and knocked his eyeball out, man.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
I believe they found those cops not guilty as well.
Yeah, you believe correct. They did find them not guilty. The brother got a glass eyeball, man. Walking around in Toronto, two off-duty cops beat him with a metal pipe?
A young
You're
brother
a cop.
too.
You'd be expected to handcuff somebody. Not where does the pipe come to the handcuffing equation? I don't understand that. Somebody help me out. They've trusted in their wickedness. They said none seeth me. They don't think anyone sees. These are just West Indians. Who cares if we kill them? These are just Mexicans. These are just Hondurans. These are just, Native Americans. These are just First Nations. Who cares? Read on.
And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
Right. Their wisdom and their knowledge perverted them. It knocked them off track. They were worried and focused about Easter, okay, and bringing their economies up and gobbling up the earth, and then the coronavirus came. They weren't ready for it. Read verse 11, last verse on this.
Verse 11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth.
Right, they don't know where this evil came from because the coronavirus is evil. It's killing people. It's causing a great amount of suffering. They don't know where it came from. They're still trying to figure out how it got to Canada. They're still trying to figure out how it got to the United States. They're saying that the strain of the coronavirus that came to the United States was actually from Europe. It wasn't from China. How do you have an outbreak of coronavirus in China and then in Italy? They have no idea. They don't have a vaccine. They don't really know what it does. You heard Donald Trump allude to injecting yourself with disinfectant, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I don't know. Is writing his script. When they tell you to not ingest bleach, I mean, this is insane. This is the end. Okay? You got a president stood up and said, maybe we'll inject ourselves with disinfectant. They have no idea what is going on. They don't know what they're doing. Okay, and it is only going to get worse. This right now, this is the new normal. There is no going back. They might recover, but there's another plague coming right behind this. All right, there's evil. And they don't know where it comes from. And there was evil in Nova Scotia, mass murder. They didn't know where it came from. This cat was running loose for 12 to 14 hours.
Right.
running around on a damn island murdering people across the earth. Read on.
And mischief shall fall upon thee.
Right. What Gabriel Wortman did was mischief. He was also lighting houses on fire. He was going from house to house in Nova Scotia with his weapons, right? He would light the house on fire. And when the people came out of the house, bow, 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 he was shooting them like target practice, man. And he was calm while doing it. He was at ease. He looked totally normal when being seen, when spotted by people. That's them. They can murder and go to sleep at night. They don't need drugs and pills to go and shoot somebody. You do. They can do it totally sober, and they're totally fine doing it. We have no business doing that, man.
Right.
Shooting people is white. That's what I need to hear more in Toronto. Oh, are you going to go do what to them over what? And that's lame, man. That's white. What are you, Gabriel?
Right.
What are you, a Wortman? Saying the Negro into not committing murder, man, because that's not our culture. That's their culture.
Right.
Read on.
Mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off.
Right. You can't put that off. They tried to. There was no alert. Mass murderer driving around Nova Scotia. Stay inside. They sent one tweet out. Lock your door. As if I'm trying to stop a raccoon from coming in the damn house. There's a maniac on the loose. Send the alert. Call the army. What the hell is going on? You got people in the house and he's driving around killing people. You got to handle that quick because you're going to have a high fatality rate because he's going to houses. You can't put this off now. When it was Negroes shooting each other over beef, when it was a law gang and meat gang, you could put that off. Oh, well, whatever. We'll just go and pick up the bodies. You call 911. They'd get there an hour later with the morgue unit to go pick up some bodies. They put that off. This, you got to be able to put this off. And what's coming next after this is not going to be able to be put on. Whoever had the scripture, read, finish verse 11.
Khan.
All right.
And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know.
Right, desolation, destruction. You're running right into a global depression, a recession so deep it causes economic depression. 2 months ago, did Canada think this was coming? No. They had no idea, man.
No.
They had no idea. All right. Drop that. Give me Job, Super Zabadia. Give me Job 20, Job chapter 20 and verse 24. Mr. Adiyar, can you read me the first article on this Gabriel Wortman cat so we can get the breakdown of who he was?
Khan, other one, Khan.
Zabadia, hold what you have. I want Officer Adiyar to read first.
I got an article over here.
Go ahead.
From the National at least 19 people are dead, including an RCMP officer. After 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman went on a gun rampage across northern Nova Scotia on the weekend.
That's who you need to look at. Hold on one second.
Police public.
That's who you need to look at. They've told the world that you were the scary one. The Negro, the West Indian in Regent Park, the West Indian in Falstaff, the North York. That's a bad part of Toronto, right? Winnipeg, don't go there. That's Murder Peg, where the First Nations are. Let me tell you something. In about a second, Regent Park's going to be the safest place in Canada. Okay, Falstaff is going to be like paradise in about a second compared to what's going to go on in northern Nova Scotia. You get my point? Regent Park was safer that day.
Right.
That's going to continue to happen. Okay, Winnipeg's going to be safer than the rest of Canada in about a second. The 51-year-old white man, that's the guy you got to look out for. Old greasy devil. He's on his way out. He's probably taking meds for cancer, right? He's got erectile dysfunction. Look out for him. He's trying to kill, okay? Can't please his wife. His wife left him, okay? And you know, when any woman leaves a white man, he's going to kill everybody. And we're gonna get into how that's funny, but that's why he killed everyone. He killed everyone because he was estranged from his girlfriend. He broke up. Whatever the hell happened.
Come.
Read on in the article.
So like it, sir. If I may, they even said that he tied up his girlfriend up before he went out and shoot up the people, man.
Yeah, he tied his girlfriend up. He couldn't take it. God damn it, Betsy! Why are you having sex with everybody on the block? I love you. I'm gonna kill everybody. God damn it. He's gonna kill everybody. But no man, you are the most abused man in Canada. Put out the house. You ain't nothing. Everybody thinks that. Police think that. So-called West Indian woman thinks that. The First Nations woman thinks that. Of course, in their ignorance, not in the truth. They think, we're worthless. We're nothing. Nobody's more abused in Canada than you, black man, First Nations, Latino. Like you would think this is something but this would be something that a West Indian would do. I want to get revenge against society. You know what I mean? For the wrong. He's a well-to-do devil in northern Nova Scotia. He's going on a rampage. Read on.
Another one, Khan. Police publicly identified Wortman about 9 hours after an initial tweet around midnight Saturday,
9 hours.
asking people to avoid the Portapique, Nova Scotia area and stay indoors as officers responded to a firearm complaint. Wortman was killed after police intercepted him at a gas station in Enfield, Nova Scotia on Sunday, and his death is being investigated by a police watchdog.
All right, drop that. Give me the other art. Well, matter of fact, scroll down and see if you can see accounts of him. Just read a few accounts how people said he was normal, he was fine, etc. All right, Zabadia, read Job 20 and 24. All right.
Khan, other one, Khan. Job 20:24. He shall flee from the iron weapon.
He shall do what?
He shall flee from the iron weapon.
He's going to flee from the iron. Isn't that a slang for gun, a gat, a piece?
Khan, other one, Khan.
A burner, right? He shall flee from the iron weapon. They were fleeing from the iron weapon in Nova Scotia. Don't tell me the Bible's not real. Don't tell me I need to go to Egypt and dig up some dead mummy and read the Book of the Dead. The Bible is a true book. It's the only book that's alive. The pages come to life. You can go turn on the news and check it out. You can go turn on the news and see plague and pestilence running across this earth. You can turn on the news and see locusts flying around East Africa like it's a buffet, like it's Golden Corral. They flying around. They don't give a damn either. Oh, thank you. I'll take some of that. I'll take some of that. They're gobbling it down. Okay, getting full over there, getting well fed. Locusts, and they're saying that's going to cause a famine of biblical proportions. Watch, in a second, that food might drop off that shelf, man. Like now is the time to have the Most High on your side, because the nations are descending into anarchy, death, and destruction. All right, Mario, do you have it?
Another one, Khan.
Go ahead.
Neighbor Nancy Hudson said she met. Neighbor Nancy Hudson said she met Wortman about 18 years ago when he bought a property on Portapique Beach Road, which is just a short walk from her home on Highway 2. Portapique Beach Road is where the first 911 call originated on Saturday night. He was very jovial, she said. But there's another side to Gabe. He had some issues, especially with his girlfriend.
Especially what?
Especially with his girlfriend.
Especially with his girlfriend. That's why he went on a rampage, because he had problems with his girl. His girl was probably the Portapique hoe. Portapique whore. Doing whatever freak nastiness they must be doing up there. Yikes. You understand? And he couldn't take it. You had a similar occurrence in Santa Fe, Texas. The cat went into a school in Santa Fe with a 12 gauge and murdered 12 people, injured about 30. You know why? Because he wanted to date this girl, and she told him no. And when you tell a white man no, run. Okay? Like you might want to say it. You work in the grocery store or whatever. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, I thought this was a sale. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. We're out of that sale. Okay. Okay.
Good.
I'm sorry.
Good, sir.
Can I take a seat? I'm sorry. I have a reserve. Get my point? Because if you hear someone say, Trevor, I'm not dating you, eh? Don't go to work next day. Because Trevor is coming back suited up like the Terminator. Okay? And he's going to shoot with pinpoint accuracy. Like, again, those devils are free men. They're not taught like the West Indians. No, right? You taught to be non-violent, peaceful, Bob Marley, peace, so you don't train with guns. That's not them. They got the little kids that are shooting guns up there. Little kids have, full out 357s up there, 22s, AR-15s up there in Porter Pick, target practicing. Okay? So you know what the deal is with them. Again, one people shall be stronger than another people. You take abuse that if anyone else would take, like if the Arabs went through what you go through at Regent Park, brother, they would blow up an airport. Their airport would be in flames. If they went through the abuse you go through on a daily basis.
Right.
We're the kindest people on the planet Earth. Okay?
Right.
Go ahead.
Khan. Hudson said she and her husband John used to hang out with Wortman and his friend on Porter Peak Beach Road.
Mm-hmm.
Though she said she hadn't seen her neighbor in about a year. There was some underlying issues that I think he had with his relationship. It was a red flag.
Go ahead.
So I go Khan. What happened on the weekend wasn't a surprise to some degree, but not to this extreme. Hudson mentioned being at a bonfire with Wortman, girlfriend, and some other neighbor around 2004, when there was some kind of altercation that left most of the gathering stunned. Hudson wouldn't elaborate on the detail, but said he had an obsession with his girlfriend.
That's it, right
Just
there.
being
Boom.
jealous.
Boom. Hold on there. You don't need to read anymore. That's it. He had an obsession with his girlfriend. Because she told him no, he went on a mass murdering spree. Okay? There was an altercation there that it was so shocking that devils won't even talk about it on the news. They won't even go before an interviewer and say, look, he did this, that, and the third. So God knows what he ended up doing at that bonfire to scare them in northern Nova Scotia. You get my point?
Come.
Probably would not have tested for any mental illnesses. He wouldn't have tested positive, quote unquote, or needed medication, but he was a mass murderer, and that's what's inside him, man. That's what's inside of him. It's a propensity to murder. Someone else, give me Doeg in the scriptures. Get me 1 Samuel 22 and 17. Someone else grab me that. All right, whoever has Job 20:24, read.
Khan. Job 20:24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bolt of steel shall strike through him.
Strike through him, the bow of steel, right? 2-3. 9.57 by whatever the width or length is, or what have you. That bullet pierced through him. That's what happened in Nova Scotia. That's what's going on, or going to go on across this earth. We're going to have wars and skirmishes pop up all over. Every nation that had a beef with somebody else, they're going to take it out on them now that their country's going to go down. You know their country's going to go? They're going to kill their enemy. Okay? What does that mean? You're going to have India, Pakistan. You're going to hear about them. They can't stand each other. You got one East Indian is a Muslim. You got another East Indian doesn't believe in killing cows. Okay? But is the biggest freak and pervert on the earth. Go check out those East Indians, man. Okay? Go check the history on them. Those two, they can't stand each other. Iran and Iraq, they can't stand each other either. Okay, you're gonna have skirmishes. All those, remember during the 90s with Bosnia and Herzegovina and all that? That's about to pop up. You're gonna have see ethnic cleansing. Okay, when these nations see they're gonna go out, they're gonna try and take as many of their enemies out with them. Okay, and who chiefly? The children of Israel.
Right.
All right, read on in Job 20, Sabadia.
Khan. Verse 25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall.
The glittering sword.
Terrors are upon him.
It comes out of his gall, right? His midsection. He pulls it out, and it's glittering, meaning what? It's light's coming from it. When you fire a gun, you see that flash of light. The blue steel come out of the gun. That's that glittering sword, man. That's the power that you pull out. Before it was a sword, now it's the gun. Read on.
Verse 26. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him.
A fire not blown shall consume him. All right, drop that. Give me Job 27 and 13. All right, 27 and 13.
Job 27, verse 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with God.
This is a portion of the wicked man with the Most High. The acts of Gabriel Wortman prove him and his people are the wicked. The destruction of the First Nations
Right.
that Canada and their people are the wicked. The destruction of the so-called West Indians in Canada and in their native islands by the Canadian banks prove that them and their people are the wicked. This is a portion of the wicked with the Most High. Read on.
And the heritage of the oppressors.
And the heritage of the oppressors. Don't tell me Canada's hasn't been oppressive to West Indians in Regent Park. Don't tell me their police force is not 20 times more likely to kill you in Ontario. That's a fact. That's coming out of the Ontario Human Rights Commission. Negroes in Ontario 20 times more likely to die at the hands of police in Ontario. In Canada, that prides itself on not being as racist as America. When you had legislation that was proposed in 1911 to make sure no blacks came to Canada. You can go look that up. That was on the books. They had, now this was the tribe of Judah, all right, so-called Negroes from America, coming from Alabama, Oklahoma, up to Alberta. You still have communities of them. They moved to Calgary, I believe. I think it was Edmonton, but they also moved to Calgary. The tribe of Judah is over there out west, and they're also in Halifax as well. When the tribe of Judah was coming up, they were like, look, we don't want these Negroes coming up here. And they're proposing that no blacks came up here, man. And guess who that was also going to hurt? The so-called Haitian, the so-called West Indian, and don't forget the so-called Latinos, the ones they love to hate. You understand? You got millions. Go ahead.
It's in Canada. It's still like that till this day. It's very hard for a Benjamite to come to Canada unless he's working on a farm somewhere picking what God knows what.
Man, forget about it. I didn't even know that. I got to look into that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Benjamites only come up here to work for a farm. Like if I had a brother in Jamaica right now, I'd have to basically he would have to apply. If they say yes, I would have to take care of him. I'd have to prove where he's gonna live and go through a whole bunch of hoops just to get him up here. And still they might turn around and say no.
Absolutely. That's ridiculous. That's insane. Meanwhile, you got Arabs, Pakistanis coming up here from God knows what, Syrians who they're supposedly at war with. All right. All right. Africans going and eating somebody's heart over there in West Africa. He comes over here. He gets a computer science scholarship to the University of Toronto. Gebege Mfungo. Okay. He was a child soldier a second ago. Come on, man. That's us. That's us. You get my point? Now, this is the heritage of the wicked with the Most High. Read on in Job 27 and 13. All right?
Khan. Job 27, verse 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty.
Right, the heritage of the oppressors. Read on.
Verse 14. If his children be multiplied.
Read verse 20.
Verse 20. Job 27, verse 20. Terrors take hold on him as waters.
See, this is the heritage of the wicked. Terror shall take hold of them as water. Just like water flows, right? Flows out to the sea, flows to a lake, flows to a river. terror is going to take hold on them like water. It's going to pour in from everywhere. It's going to pour in from Gabriel Wortman, and it's going to pour in from the invisible enemy, the coronavirus. Read on.
Khan, other one Khan. A tempest steal him away in the night.
Tempest is going to steal them away in the night. Tornadoes, hurricanes, etc. Read on.
Verse 21.
Drop
The
that.
east-
Go back to verse 15. Get more clarification on it.
Salakia,
All right.
sir. Verse 15.
Come on.
Job 27, verse 15. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death.
Those that remain of him shall be what?
Buried in death.
Remain of him, remain of the oppressors, man. And no one has been more oppressive than the so-called European. Go ask the Arabs, right? Go ask the Japanese. In Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they dropped 2 atomic weapons on them, man. They wouldn't drop the atomic weapons on the Germans, however. But they would use it on the Japanese. Okay? Go ask them. Go ask the native Australians. And they'll tell you who's been oppressive. All right? That's them, and this is their portion. Those that are left of them, they're going to be buried in death. They're going to die in the Third World War, man. All we have to do is sit back, kick back, grab the popcorn, and watch the show unfold. Okay? Because this is the Lord's show now. Before, it was Canada's show, going to work. It's all about everybody worried about work and going to work, going about their daily lives. Now the Most High stepped in. Now this is the Most High's play. Okay? War, death, and shutdown. That's how the Most High comes to answer the world's wickedness and the world's disobedience and lack of acknowledging him. Okay? Before, a second ago, the job was the most important thing. Now, food and toilet paper is the most important thing. That's what people are searching for. Where is the job? I gotta get a job. I gotta stay employed. Now we're wondering where we can get the next bottle of rubbing alcohol from. Okay? Now we were scrambling like a squirrel before winter, okay, for paper towels. Come on, man. The Most High put everything in perspective. Go ahead.
Shalom, shalom, Akayam.
All right, shalom, Ak. All right. Keep reading in verse 20.
Do you want me to go back to verse Salakia? Do you want me to go back to verse 20 or continue in verse 15?
Oh, continue in verse 15, please.
Khan, other one Khan. Job 27, verse 15. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep.
His widows aren't going to weep. They're going to be dying so quickly and so often. It's going to be like, well, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one. Listen, they better hope. They better pray. No, not pray. They better hope that there's not a second wave of this coronavirus. Because this second wave, viruses are just like fine wine. They only get better with age. You get my point? So over time, and especially at the peak period that we're in right now, listen, they better hope this thing just blows over. Otherwise, you're going to have bodies piling up in Canada and across this earth.
All right.
All right. Did you finish verse 15?
No, that's all. I just take the camera off. Not off. I just like. Oh, my bad.
If you have to talk to someone outside of the class, just mute yourself. All right. Did you finish verse 15? Zabadi?
Khan, other one Khan.
All right. Somebody else, give me Galatians 6 and 7. Adiyar, get me the other article where from 2014 where it said we gave dentures to someone. Now we have arguments all the time. Go ahead.
So I didn't hear what you said, sir. You was cutting up.
God, give me the article that I sent you from 2014 where he gave a pair of dentures to someone. It says like an angel in disguise or something. If you don't have it, let me I can send it to you again.
Gotcha.
Brothers, Akim, if you have questions, just hold them till towards the end, all right? I'll answer the questions towards the end. I'm going to go through this topic, all right?
Khan, sir.
Adiyar, I'm going to send it to you again. So that's the article. I just sent it to you, Adiyar. Angels Among Us. Cancer survivor gets dentures. All right. I want somebody else to grab me. Hold on 1 second.
Con, sir, I got it, sir.
Go. All right. Somebody else grab 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. IDR, read the article.
Another one, Con. This is an article on Atlantics and citynews.ca. There's an angel among us, cancer survivor to receive new dentures.
So this
Halifax cancer survivor who lost.
Give me 1 second. This is an article from 2014, right? This mass murderer, Gabriel Wortman, right? He was a denturist. And in 2014, he gave a cancer survivor dentures out of the kindness of his own heart. Right? Read on.
Right. Another one, Con. A Halifax cancer survivor who lost all of her teeth will soon be supporting a new set of dentures, thanks to the kindness of strangers. Cherry Ensby says she lost her teeth as a result of the medication she is taking, and that has left her severely depressed. She says she doesn't feel comfortable leaving her home and has only been able to eat soup, scrambled eggs, and jello for the last 5 months.
Okay, so she was taking medications due to the fact that she had cancer, and it took her teeth out, right? She was only able to eat soup and light foods for several months. Go ahead.
Ensby, a single parent, can afford dentures, and Medicare won't cover the cost, but multiple maritimers offered to help after a story aired on CTV News. The news wasn't even over. I couldn't believe it.
Go ahead.
Walk on the face of the earth, and to me, what those people are like.
Angels on the face of the earth. So her mother told her there are angels that are around. Hold on a second. So her mother told her there are angels that are around, etc.
Next week.
Keep reading.
My heart went. My heart went out to her, says Wortman.
Says who?
There's so many ways for people to get dead, says Wortman.
Says Wortman. Gabriel Wortman. Mass murderer 2020. In 2014, he gave dentures to a cancer survivor out of the kindness of his own heart. Right? And to many of us, we would see that and go, he's a nice man. He's a good man because he gave dentures. That does not make him nice, Doc. Like, you cannot take the personal kindness of Europeans to mean that they're all good now, right? They're not going to be judged. We have to love them. When we cannot, because they have a judgment coming because of who they are. And this is who they are underneath all that charity to Africa, underneath all those trips with the Red Cross, underneath all those visits to Haiti to help the poor and to give out food. They are the devil. They're a murderer. Get me 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. Somebody else grab me, Darash, grab me John 8 and 44. Like, this is who they are. And Christ, Yahushua knew it. He could see through it. Prophets could see through it. Paul could see through it. That's why he had to say in Romans chapter 9 and verse 4, right? Matter of fact, Romans chapter 9 verse 13, the Most High hates Esau. Why did he have to say it? Because the same arguments you have, he was having in Rome. Why? They're good Romans. Look at what Nero did for the people. Look at what Caesar did. Look at Caesar. You tell me Caesar is evil? Look at all that he did for the refugees when we were destroyed. Hundreds of years ago. Look at what they did for us. They gave us a seat, right? As Pharisees. He had the same battle. He had to reiterate the Most High hates us. He hates us. Because this is what's in his mind. This is what's been in his mind. He has the spirit of Cain. 2 Corinthians 11.
Salakia, sir, what was that?
11 and 13.
I still didn't hear you.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 14. All right.
I have John 8 and 44, sir.
Con, read John 8:44 first.
Con. This is John chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning.
He was a murderer from when?
From the beginning.
From the beginning. Ye are of your father the devil. Yahushua is talking to Jews, so-called Negroes. He's not calling them Europeans or Caucasians, but he's saying their father is Rome. Who was the murderer? Europe,
right.
Portugal, England.
Right.
Same thing with West Indian leaders and Haitian leaders as well. Wycliffe John, who knows that we're the Israelites. He's going around running for president and doing God knows what now, giving to Africa, etc. I wish I would say the same thing to him. He's a liar and a thief. West Haitian leaders are thieves. Forget about it, man. All the corruption going on in Haiti. They're going to turn the country on its head.
Right.
They're of their father, the devil. They're of their father, Napoleon. That's who would want strife in Haiti, Napoleon. West Indian leaders are Toronto, the homies, the people we look up to a lot. They're of their father, the devil. That's what they are, man. The lust of their father, they'll do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Who is he? The devil. The slave master. The French, they've been a murderer since the beginning. The Dutch, they've been a murderer since the beginning. Gabriel Wortman and Canadians, they've been murderers since the beginning, since John Cabot.
That's right.
Since Hudson came up the Hudson River and up into Hudson Bay, up to the St. Lawrence River, etc. They've been murderers. If you don't believe us, go walk around Toronto and go look for the First Nations. Toronto comes from a First Nations word, I believe. Right?
Con.
Where are they at now? You can't find them. They're gone. They're destroyed. They've been wiped off the face of Toronto. You don't wipe people off a whole city by hugs and kisses, by philanthropy, and by Red Cross visits. You wipe them out through murder, and that's what they've done. That's their spirit. They can go and rule and run a country and be totally operational and murder an entire nation. They are murdered from the beginning. That's who they are. They always go back to who they are. That's what you have to understand. So-called West Indians, so-called Latinos, so-called natives, they're going to go back and be just who they are, the devil. Read 2 Corinthians 11 and 13, as a matter of fact. Divide you.
Con, 2 Corinthians 11 and 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ.
Now, when you see acts like this, where he is able to go and murder 16 people, and people in the community just say he was a nice guy, they don't know how he would do it, right? You see now how the Catholic Church is able to operate. Why? Because nobody thinks the Catholic Church is a fraternity of rapists, just like nobody thinks that Gabriel Wortman had the propensity to murder. They don't even see it. You get my point? He transformed himself into a philanthropist. Transformed himself, was able to, give and donate, etc. But he's a devil. And the people that push that men like him are good Canadians are false apostles. They're not in the damn truth, man. They're liars. The Christian church is the house of liars. Tell me God loves everybody. Right. So then God loves Gabriel Wortman, right? That's what the Christian would have to say. That's what the Baptist would have to say in Toronto. So God loves Dylan Roof, who murdered 9 so-called Negroes in South Carolina. God loves Napoleon Bonaparte, who gassed Haitians in the hulls of ships. No, man. No. God loves Cortez? No, man, he doesn't. God, the Most High, does not love everyone. Okay?
Right.
And that devil that did that mass shooting, who were the other ones? Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. Give me some other shooters. That devil in Eric Harris in Aurora, Colorado. I'm not sure if that's his name. Ronald Reagan, George Washington, John Cabot. They're all going to come back. Everyone comes back on the earth. They're going to come back, and they're going to serve slavery. Dylan Klebold will be picking my oranges, and he'll be given dull objects so he can't go to school and mass murder. Him and Gabriel Wortman. Okay? They'll be given dull objects and they'll be mining 8 miles underground where they can't hurt anybody. bringing up the goal for the children of Israel. That's where these people need to be, man, because they are the murderer. They've been a murderer from the beginning, though they appear to you as if they're Christ. We believe that the one the world calls Christ is a so-called white man. He's a Caucasian. And if he were around today, he'd look like he could, run for the Hell's Angels. Long hair, long coat, right? That's a lie. Christ is a Negro, okay? And he's not okay with all these murderers across the earth. And he's going to judge the nations. He's going to put them in their place, man. In the kingdom of heaven, you're not going to hear about child molestation. I was touched when I was this age. I was touched when I was that age. You're not going to hear about that, man. You're not going to hear about Cash App, illicit sex. You're not going to hear about that. You're not going to hear about drug dealers on the corner. You're going to see a drug dealer on the corner. His head's going to be posted on a light pole, okay, with a little note. He sold drugs. Witch. He's going to have a necklace around him. Witch. Just his head's going to be hanging in Christ's kingdom, in Yahushua's kingdom. That's how you have good governance. But because Canada and the United States is a free society, you got mass murderers running the hell around. Okay? And that's what they do. They transform themselves into an angel of light. We look at them like they're great. I couldn't see how he would do something like this. How couldn't you when he's a devil? You don't.
Verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
I don't marvel at this. Don't marvel. Oh, how could he do something like that after everyone dentures? Because Satan is transformed into the angel of light. The people that we think are right, the people that we think are men of God, they're actually men of Satan. That's what the scripture is saying.
Right.
Satan transformed to look like a man of God. And who are you? You're crazy. You're in a cult. I was told I took a turn for the worse. That's what I was told. That's why I knew I was in. We took a turn for the worse. Right. Gone. I don't know. I don't see. It's crazy what's going on. Insane. You can't listen to them. They don't have their lives together. But Satan, he's got his life together. Christian pastor, he's got his life together. Pastor this, pastor that. They're good. I should listen to them. Satan has transformed himself into the angel of light. Now we see the Catholics as being righteous, and because of that, we look at him like Gabriel Wortman and say, "Oh, he could be a Catholic priest." Right? That's what we think when we see him. But we should see the devil and Satan himself. You get my point? Because that's what he is. All right. Drop that. Get me who has Galatians 7? Whoever has Galatians 6 and 7, read it. I'll be right back.
Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall reap.
Can you hear me out? I read the scripture. Yeah, read the scripture again, all right?
Khan. Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Don't be deceived. Don't think because of the Christian church and the Catholic church that these people are just going to go away scot-free. And don't be deceived in the truth either. You hear us have class every week. Yeah, okay, Officer Obama. Yeah, okay, Officer IDR. When we're saying what we're saying and speaking about what's going to happen, prophesying. Don't be deceived about it. What we say, what's said in this class is going to happen. What's said out on the street is going to happen. The Third World War is going to happen.
That's right.
The economy is going to shut down. Acts of terrorism and death are coming across Canada. Canadians are going to fight Canadians. You're going to have Americans fighting Americans. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Don't be deceived. The Most High is not mocked. You're not going to be able to say to them about the Most High, oh, we got to kill his people. Oh, what with Jamaica? We got to spoil Jamaica. You get my point? They're not going to say, oh, Brazil? Oh, I go to Brazil and I have sex with the Brazilian women during Carnival and I throw them away. Those Portuguese devils come over to Brazil during Carnival and use our sisters like rags. Go read about it. You get my point? it brings the wrath of the Most High. You get my point? It makes me think of fire and brimstone.
Right.
What they doing to those goddamn Brazilian women over there, girls, those damn devils. You get my point? Don't be deceived. They're not going to be able to go back to Spain and say, "Oh, we had fun in El Salvador. Had fun with those El Salvadorian girls." A devil go over to Jamaica. I had fun with Sister Nancy. You going back to Spain and dropping dead now. Now it's not a joke. Now it's not a joke. Now they're not going back and laughing and giggling and high-fiving over all the prostitutes they had in Jamaica, in Trinidad, in Brazil. Now they're dropping dead. The Most High is not going to be mocked. Okay? He's not. Read on.
Verse 8. For
Oh,
he that
like you drop that. Whatsoever, whatever you sow, whatever you do on this earth is going to be done to you. And Canada has terrorized the Native American Indians. That's a fact. That's been done. Justin Trudeau admitted that the Canadian government specifically has abused the First Nations. That's an understatement, man. They plotted genocide against them. They put them in residential schools. They stripped them of their culture and their identity. When the East Indian in Toronto, he's coming over here speaking full Hindi. His culture's not stripped. There's no residential school for the East Indian. There's no residential school for the East African, for the Somalians. Hell, they get to come over here and act like you. They get to come over here and be black. They get to get in the shootouts. Black Jamaicans are cool with it. They can get the shootouts, get on the rap records and everything, and just be black. But the so-called Latino don't speak that Spanish. This is America. This is Canada. Speak English, right? West Indian, speak Canadian English. Stop that patois. The Haitians speak French. Whatever you sow on this earth, you're going to reap it. They've sown terrorism against the children of Israel, and terrorism is what they're going to reap. They're going to eat it up like a harvest. We're going to gather it all across Canada, and that's from the Most High, man. That's from the Most High. I don't kill the messenger. Don't get mad at us for saying it. We're only saying what's in the scriptures. Okay? The men in the eye should be cared. No, we're not going to lift a finger against the hair of Canada. You get my point? That's not what we're about. We're not the Black Panthers. We take up guns and go and shoot at cops. You get my point? That's not what we're about. We're not the Nation of Islam where we're going to go and kill our rivals. That's a waste of time. Okay? And that's what they would prefer in all this. They like a madman, a nut, a maniac. Okay? But a man that's level-headed, a man of discipline, puts them in fear. In absolute fear. And these things are going to happen to them in the midst of that. Okay? Don't you go out and do anything dumb in this day and age, in this time. If they tell you to wear a mask in the grocery store, wear a damn mask. You get my point? If they tell you can't gather more than this many people, don't gather more than this many people. Now is not the time to be, lawless. You get my point? Now is the time to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. Be wise and watch these people fall. Get me Leviticus 26. Leviticus 26 and 16. Like I've said, we're constantly made to remember our destruction, right? Canada has Thanksgiving, does it not? What was the first Thanksgiving about in America? Love of all nations, joining together of cultures, the development of a multicultural society. Is that what it was about? Hell no. One of the first Thanksgivings, you had several, I'm not sure if it's several hundred, but you had an entire Pequot Indian camp. So there were 700 brothers and sisters from the tribe of Gad in a camp. They had long houses. They were chilling. They were in bed. Devils circled around the entire encampment and killed damn near all of them, wiped them out. And in celebration of that, they had the first Thanksgiving. After every slaughter of the Gadites, they would have a feast commemorating that murder and that slaughter. There were so many massacres that Abraham Lincoln said, stop. We're having Thanksgiving every week. Look, guys, I know we're doing a good job, but let's just make it once a year. I know we're bringing law and order to the Native Americans. Have you heard that term? Right? We want to bring law and order to Central America. Translation, we're going to murder and slaughter across the earth. That's what that means. They thought they were just and justified in murdering those people, man. And in doing so, after each massacre, they would have a Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was made once a year. In America, it's November 24th. In Canada, it's October 8th, I believe, right? Thanksgiving.
I think so.
Right.
I think so.
So October 8th. Now, you're a Native American Indian in Winnipeg, in poverty. And every year they celebrate your death. Every year they celebrate the slaughter of you. Imagine what that does to someone. Of course you can imagine. There are brothers, man. That terrorizes someone. That you're in a nation that celebrates your death. Read Leviticus 26.
Leviticus chapter 26, verse 16. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror.
Terror was appointed to us. We were terrorized. Why? Because we broke the laws, statutes, and commandments. And you remember our terror, Canada. You remember it every year with the Canadian Thanksgiving, Canadian Independence Day, where you had so-called black people who fought in many of their armies from the tribe of Judah, so-called people now that are the black Nova Scotians. They're descendants of the black loyalists that fought for Britain during the War of Independence. We're constantly made to remember our tragedies. Right up there in Halifax, where that devil was headed, there's a community called Africsville. Okay? And in that community, you got the tribe of Judah. Now, the Nova Scotia government constantly said, oh, you're breaking zoning codes. Malik, you can't do there. I come back and that nonsense is still there. I'm mowing it over. They called it a slum, called it everything, until one day they mowed the whole community down in Nova Scotia. Imagine you in a house, you in an apartment, paid for everything, built it yourself in some cases, and you come back and your entire community is bulldozed. That's what they did to black people in Nova Scotia. That's what they did. And now this incident happened in Nova Scotia for a reason. They're going to have to reap everything they did to the so-called black Nova Scotians, man. They've been terrorized. You had a police brutality incident in Nova Scotia this summer. They can find you and beat you half to death, but they can't find a mass murderer. No less than 9 to 12 hours. Okay? Terror was appointed unto us. And they make us remember it every single year with Thanksgiving. Again, now give me Psalm 109 and 14. Psalm 109 and 14. Whoever has it, read it. All right.
Psalms 109, 14. Let the iniquity of his fathers be remembered with the Lord, and let it not.
Justin Trudeau said we don't want to name Gabriel Wilson, the man that won the mass murder spree in Nova Scotia. No problem. God's going to name him. The one you call God, the Most High, is going to name him. And he's going to name John Cabot, and he's going to name Hernan Cortez, and he's going to name every slave master in the West Indian Islands. He didn't forget about them. He didn't forget about your slave master back on the plantation. He didn't forget about who whipped and beat your grandmother to blood and tears down there picking sugar cane. He didn't forget who muzzled your mouth, so-called Haitian, who muzzled your mouth while you're picking sugar cane. You can't even eat while you're picking the damn sugar cane. The Most High didn't forget about that. But meanwhile, this cat goes on a mass murdering spree. Immediately, they don't want him to be mentioned. They want him to be forgotten. Go ahead.
Sure.
Slaki, that reminds me, that is, if I'm wrong, is that not a direct commandment they broke by not allowing them to eat while working in the field?
Yeah, you don't muzzle the ox.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, you can't muzzle the ox. Like in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna have them in slavery, but we're not gonna rape their sons. You get my point? We're not gonna, and all that other nonsense they were doing. You get my point? They're going to serve. We're going to put justice on them. That's what's going to happen. We're going to serve slavery, and specifically the nation of Edom is going to be cut off. They're not going to be around anymore. Every other race is going to be put back in their land. Africans, they can go to Africa. They can't cut their woman's clitoris off. That's not going to happen anymore. They can't run and eat albinos. They can't do that anymore. Okay, but they'll be able to live in their own land. East Indians can't go and bathe in urine or eat whatever filth they want to eat. They can't. They're not going to be able to bathe in cow dung because then you're going to have coronavirus in the kingdom. I'm not having that.
Right.
Point. I'm there. There's going to be no virus, corona, nothing. Okay, running around shutting down the economy. I need them to give me all their money. We can't have a virus shut it down. So they're not going to eat pork. They're not going to take cow dung baths. But they'll be able to live in their own land. The nation of Edom is not getting the same mercy. So he should be remembered for his evil. And guess what? John Cabot, his mass murderers, they should be remembered as well. Hernan Cortez, what he did, should be remembered as well. Keep reading in the verse.
Khan, another one, Khan. And let not the sin of his mother be blotted out.
Read it again.
Khan, another one, Khan. Psalms 109:14. Psalms 109, verse 14. Let the iniquity of his fathers be remembered with the Lord. Let not his sin of his mother be blotted out.
Be blotted out. Don't forget about slavery. That's what David asked the Most High. Don't forget about our captivity. Now, what is your West Indian leader saying? What is your Latino leader saying? Oh, forget about that. Leave Guatemala in the past. We're in Canada now. I'm not forgetting about what happened to the brothers in Guatemala. I'm not forgetting about the Guatemalan Civil War. I'm not forgetting about what Hernan Cortez did. The Most High isn't going to forget about that either, man.
Right.
Okay? This guy is good as the devil. He's a murderer. And he's going to be remembered, man. He's going into slavery. He's dead now, but he'll be back. He'll be back and he'll be a slave along with the rest of his people. These people are animals, man. I have a statistic. Between 1982 and February 2020, 64 out of 118 mass shootings were initiated by white shooters. So, the last mass shootings that occurred in the United States, specifically from 2008 to 2020, over half white men. Now, you have black people that are doing quote-unquote mass shootings, but okay, they're over gangs. You're in this gang, I'm in that gang. Or often, and what you're reading in this article, is that black people are committing mass shootings over money, over financial gain, of poverty, which is what I mean. But this cat, Gabriel Workman, he's going to kill everyone because his girlfriend broke up with him. He's going to kill everyone.
Right.
He's going to have high school sex in Santa Fe, Texas. He's coming in with a shotgun and everybody's going to die in homeroom.
Right.
He's coming in the homeroom and he's coming in to liquidate. Okay? That's what he's coming to do. Because he can't have high school American Pie sex. Meanwhile, we're killing out of poverty. That's the ones who are black people are killing out of, or some silly drug deal going wrong. They're killing just, the Tuesday afternoon. She told me no. Right? Time to die. That's them. That's them. Give me 1 Samuel 22 and 17. They have a propensity to murder, and this is the Bible. All right? Someone else, give me Psalm 10 and 8.
I have it, sir.
Con. Someone else grab Psalm 10 and 8. Trooper Darash, read 1 Samuel 22 and 17, all right?
Khan. This is 1 Samuel 22 and 17. And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, turn and slay the priests of the Lord, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew when he fled.
Now, Saul lost the kingship because he disobeyed the Most High's order to totally slaughter, annihilate Amalek. Amalek are the people you know of today as the so-called Jewish man, the guy downtown in Toronto selling diamonds and, in clothing stores. He is an Amalekite. And thousands of years ago, the Most High gave a Benjamite, so-called West Indian, an order to slaughter them because of what they've done to us. He did not obey the order. And because of that, the kingship went to a man named David. Okay? Now, King David was hungry. He was not hungry in the way we're hungry. where you want to go get a patty or some pizza or something. He was starving. King David, when it says he was hungry, he was not, I want something to eat. His men were starving to death. Imagine you're at war and you're traveling, there's nowhere to eat. Okay, and he went to the temple and he said he was starving. He's like, look, let me get some bread. The priest gave David bread. It was the right priest. It was the showbread, meaning what? If you touched it, you died. You were not allowed to touch the showbread. That was a law. Now, what Yahweh brought out later is that there's the law and then there's the spirit of they were getting their justice. They were getting compensated. Remember, the Levites weren't a tribe in Israel. They were placed in a tribe. So to show that they were being properly compensated, there was something called showbread. That's why it's called showbread. It was to show that they were well taken care of. But if someone's coming in there starving, you're not going to not feed them. You get my point? So the priest was right. Even though, according to the law, you would be killed for touching the showbread. Now, Saul saw it. And he said, these priests for David. He told his footmen who were Israelites, man, go kill them. Let's see what the footmen said.
Khan. And because they knew when he fled and did not show it to me, but the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priests of the Lord.
They would not do it. They said, look, man, I'm not killing them. I'm not going to do it. They were going to kill all these men for nothing. Let's find out who would. Let's find out who will kill dozens of innocent people and feel nothing about it. Read on.
Verse 18. And the king said to Doeg, turn thou and fall upon the priests. And Doeg the Edomite turned and he fell. Doeg the Edomite.
The Edomite, so-called Canadian, Portuguese, Dutch, French, that's who he was, a so-called Caucasian. What did he do?
Turned and he fell upon the priests and slew on that day fourscore and 5 persons.
He killed 85 priests in one day. He turned on them and slaughtered them. The men of Israel wouldn't do it. Like, look, man, I can't do that. We call blacks Latinos and Native American Indians. Like, look, come on, man, I can't do that. Even in our worst day, a drug dealer, a Negro drug dealer, he can kill 1 or 2 people, but he's not going to kill whole families. You know what you have to do to become the Gambinos, to become John Gotti, to become Al Capone? They had to kill families. I mean, the mother, the daughter, the kids, the husband. You also, if you saw The Godfather, you know what I'm talking about. They had to kill everybody. We can't do that, man. Even in our worst day, we can't do that. That's why there is no Gambino, Gotti, Italian Mafia. We don't have that propensity. You get my point? Without outside help, CIA, just groups and organizations, and drugs. Okay, that's not in us. That was in Doeg the Edomite. Now, Doeg didn't have knowledge. Doeg didn't do a lot of coke before he did it. He didn't get drunk anything. He didn't get drunk anything. Yeah. He was the servant of Saul, which meant what? He was on his game. He was sharp. He came to work on time. He could fully function, and he had a propensity to murder. That's Gabriel Workman right there. He was centric, which meant what? He was well disciplined. He was good at his job. He'd been doing it for years. He just got up one day and murdered 16 people. That's what's in them, man. That's what's in them. And what he's been saying years, to separate from these people, it's warranted, man. It's warranted to separate from them spiritually, meaning don't do what they do. Don't get caught up in the parade. Right. Don't get caught up in the carnival with them. Stay the hell away from them, man. Be in Canada, but don't be a part of it. Don't be a part of their weed, part of their drugs, part of their theft. Don't be a part of that, man, or you'll be caught up with Gabriel Workman. You'll be in his crosshair. It's going to be on you. That's going to be that. We'll see you in the reincarnation. My point. That's one of those things. Or you can stop now, stop in your tracks, and you can live. Man. Because Gabriel Wortman, all these cats are coming to Toronto, Montreal, Arizona, going to break out across this earth. That's in the scripture. That's going to lead to civil war and skirmishes break out all across this earth. All right. Give me Psalm 10 and 8. I had someone else get that, I believe, or grab it, I believe. Let's read it. Psalm 10 and 8.
I got it, sir.
Go ahead.
Psalms 10 and 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In secret places doeth he murder the innocent. His eye,
For the peak. In the secret places does he murder the innocent. For the peak. Northern Nova Scotia, he murdered damn near dozens of innocent people. Gabriel Wortman. So does every mass shooter, mass murderer. Go ahead.
his eyes are privily set against the poor.
His eyes privily set against the poor.
Verse 9.
He wasn't going to Halifax to
He
make a
lied.
rap record. Troopers about you. He wasn't going to Halifax to make a rap record. Oh, come on, homie. He hops. He wasn't coming to make a He was coming to take his anger out on Negroes. That's what he was coming to do. Halifax is famous for its so-called black community. Famous in Canada. You get my point? Famous.
Right.
That's where he was headed next. The Most High, he would stop. Okay? But let that be a message and a warning to the brothers and sisters in Halifax, man. Because the next one, the Most High might not stop. He might let him go through and bring death and hell to the so-called Negroes that try to do it in Halifax. Put down that weed, man. Okay? You don't want to be
Right.
You don't want to walk in front of Gabriel Wortman when you're high. He's going to win. He's going to prevail against you. The Most High is not going to be with you. The Most High stopped this one. You stop the next one. And how much more mercy are you going to have on us? Stopped a mass murderer from coming to Halifax. Only place where Negroes are in Halifax. You tell me the Most High didn't stop it, man. How much more? I don't know. Oh, here's what I would do. I would stop. I would stop going to visit, the neighborhood. I would stop paying $40 for 15 minutes. I would stop selling drugs and being involved in drugs and going to dabble in that. You're going to die. Going to die. So now's the time. Now, more than ever, is the time to change and stop this evil, man. All right? Caught up in the snare, in the crosshairs. Let me go to Job chapter 24, verse 14.
Salakia, sir, what scripture?
The book of Job, chapter 24, and verse 14. Whoever has it first, you can just call it out and read it. All right, the wall.
I have it, sir.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Job, chapter 24, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy.
Now, the murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy. If he rises with the light, what does that tell you about murder to him? I need someone else to answer. I'm tired of hearing myself talk. So, what about Akim? Answer that. If he's rising with the light, what does that mean murder is to him?
It's basically nothing. Like, he doesn't care to do it in broad daylight. It's just his work, basically.
His what?
It's his job. Like, it's just
his
whatever.
job. You nailed it right on the head, Trooper. Give him a hand. It's his job. You get up at 6 a.m. to do what? You're gonna, build, fix roofs. You get up early to fix roofs. You get up to be at work at 9 a.m., 6 a.m., 11 a.m. Whenever you come into work, you wake up, right? For what? To go to work. This man, he wakes up. Oh, I'm gonna go kill some kids in high school. All right.
Right.
It's like a job to him. He doesn't think anything of it. Time to kill some kids. Time to go kill across Nova Scotia. Took a nap. Was it Saturday afternoon? He took a nap. Has to pretend, said, you know what? Guys, time to kill. That's the murderer. He is a murderer. You can kill like that. That is a professional. He's good at his craft. Negroes are terrible at it. Negroes are so bad at crime, we rap about it. Tell everyone about it. That's how bad we are at crime.
Right.
I did this and I did that. Something. The RCMP, Ruthie, go away. The RCMP getting coordinates. The RCMP is getting coordinates from your mixtape. Simple. That's what the hell's going on. We're bad at it. We're not. Be mass murderers, and you wouldn't even know it. He'd going to work, carpenter. I didn't know what was wrong with him. He put dentures in people's mouths. He fixed old ladies' teeth. Wow, he is a mass murderer in the making. 30-21. Whoever has it, read.
Slakia, which verse? Which?
Jeremiah 32 and 21. Darash, can you get Super Darash? Can you get me Psalm 91 and 5? Probably 5.
Khan.
Somebody read Jeremiah.
Jeremiah 32, verse 31.
Khan, hold on 1 second. IDR, can you post a sign out link? Post a sign out link, Baba Kushah. Trooper Zabadia, go ahead.
Khan. Jeremiah 32, verse 31.
21.
41, Slakia.
32 and 21.
32 and 21. Khan. Jeremiah 32, verse 21. And has brought forth thy people Israel out of the land of Egypt with signs and with wonders and with a strong hand and with a stretched out arm and with great terror.
With great terror. These incidents, 9/11, mass shooting in Nova Scotia, skirmishes in Iran, coronavirus, which is a great terror as well. These are the signs that West Indians in Canada will be freed. And so-called Central Americans, Mexicans, Latinos, First Nations will be freed from their slave master, man. He didn't bring us out of it. Like we were slaves in Egypt, just like we were slaves in Canada. Built Canada. I don't care what section of Canada you're talking about, Negroes had their hand in it. You can go out to Yukon. There are black people in Yukon, okay, that helped develop that province, helped in the gold rush, helped build the Trans-Canadian Highway, the highway that runs, might not be named the Trans-Canadian Highway, but nonetheless, the highway that runs up from Yukon into Alaska. Black people built that, helped make that. So-called black Canadians as well as so-called black Alaskans, okay? That's what we did. We were the slaves in Egypt, just like we were slaves in Canada. Well, the Most High didn't bring us out of Egypt with hugs and kisses. He brought us out of Egypt with plagues, okay? Disease. In about a minute, it's not going to be a secret on who these plagues and all this death's coming from. Right now, it's cute. So, 5G. In a second, there's going to be none of that. You're going to know just what is going on. Why? Because it's going to be outside your door. There's going to be no conspiracy theory. Because you're going to see you're going to hear Arabs yelling and, bombs going off and drones and the A-10 Warhawk. There's going to be no conspiracy theory in a second. It's going to be outside the window. Okay? Right now, they come from here. They come from there. Most of the time, brought these terrors upon Egypt. He's bringing them on Canada as well. Give me Psalm 91 and 5. This is not the time to worry, black man. Latino, Native American, Indian. This is not the time to be afraid. This is the time to be powerful. The Most High didn't give us a spirit of fear. Right. All right. We don't have anything to worry about if we're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. If you get coronavirus, don't sweat. Pray and go to the Most High that He, lift that sickness off of you, and He will. Hezekiah was sick. He was about to die. He prayed to the Most High. The Most High said He'll put 15 years on it. He put 15 years on it. Okay, so don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. These viruses are here. They're out. Okay, but hold on to the truth. and keep the faith. Stay strong in the truth, man. And Most High will be with you. All right, He'll be for you and not against you. Go to Psalm 91:5. Go ahead.
Khan.
Psalm 91:5.
Oh, slack it.
Hold on one second, Adiyar. Trooper Daraj, you read. Adiyar, I need you to get me Deuteronomy 28, where it said, "Thou shalt not lend, you'll borrow." You know that scripture. You be the tail, he'll be the head. All right, Trooper Daraj.
Khan. This is Psalm 91:5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night.
You won't be afraid by the terror by night. You won't be afraid of it. I wanted to finish as well the rest of 24 and 14, but the rest of John 24 and 14 shows you he goes and he wakes up early to murder, and at night he's like a thief, meaning what? He's gone. He acts like it never happened. That's what Gabriel Wortman would have done if he wasn't caught. You get my point? In many cases, they do plan to die, but in many cases, those mass shooters, they plan to get away. And that's prophesied. That was spoken about in Job 24 and 14. Read Psalm 91:5. So we're not going to be afraid of the terror. Read on.
Khan, nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
Arrow that flieth by day. That arrow was coming out of whatever gun he had, right? AR-15, handguns. Where were you at when that was going on? Tucked into bed, right? Saturday night, chilling, right? With the family, watching TV. You weren't afraid of it. You had no idea what was going on. That's what will happen to a brother and sister that follows the Most High. And that's why we're so adamant about what we do in marriage. That's why we push it.
Right.
Because this protection, not everybody has this, man. Not everyone has this. There are many brothers and sisters in Regent Park that didn't have this protection, and they're gone. Many brothers and sisters in Toronto, in Canada, that did not have this gift, and they're gone because of their ignorance, man. And we don't want that. That's why we're so adamant. That's why we push as hard as we push. We want our people to live, man. That's it. To live. You don't have to agree with what I say at all. But if what I'm saying comes from the Most High, you got to hear the Most High. You get my point? Whether you like it or not. And if you hear him and you obey the Most High, you won't be afraid of the terror. You won't be afraid of the arrow. Gunshot. I heard during the summer from Trooper Zabaya in the ghetto, you got Toronto police riding around in ATVs and horses.
God.
The neighborhood is not a slave plantation, man. That is the slave. The ATV is a motorized sport. It's on horseback. He's in the exact same position, riding through. How to run from the cops with an ATV? Catching you and beating the life out of you. Okay.
And Salakia, sir, if I may, I remember me and Trooper Zabaji were talking about that very thing, and he was saying to me, like, if you hurt the horse's the police's horse, they treat that worse as if like a black guy gets shot.
Yeah. Exactly. You hurt that horse? Oh man. If you kill a so-called Negro, beat him half to death, oh well. You were just doing what you had to do on the job. You were using necessary force. That's a damn lie. We're not going to be afraid of it. This is the gift that we're given here in the ISUPK. It's not from us. It's not because we're special. I could drop dead tomorrow. Who the hell cares? But the truth is going to last forever. The truth is what matters.
Right.
That's what's going to give our people safety, man. That's what's going to save us and help us in Regent Park. That's what's going to get us on the right track. That's what's going to fix our families. That's what's going to get drug dealers off the corner. It's going to reform the drug dealers, reform dealers in gangs. The truth will. And if they do that, they get reformed, they take that correction, man, they won't be worried about the arrow by day. Won't be worried about gunshots. Don't be looking out the window. Don't have to keep an illegal gun on them. They'll have the Most High with them. Read on.
You want me to read verse 6, sir?
No. So I'm going to read a few articles live. Don't read verse 6. That's good enough. So I'm going to read a few articles on Canadian banks. Canadian banks are the reason that West Indians are in Canada. I asked everybody in the class, or most of the people that are in the class now, why did you leave Canada? Why did your family leave? It was the overwhelming majority of you answered that your family left to get to have a better future. I'm going to read to you right now why life in Jamaica was the way it was, why there was so much poverty. This is from the Council on Hemispheric Affairs. Canada's financial dominance in the former English Caribbean colonies, FECC. So these are the colonies that were formerly owned by England, which are most of the West Indian islands. Today, Canadian banks dominate the financial industry of the former English Caribbean colonies. Again, you have Trinidad and Tobago. You have Jamaica. You don't own it. You don't own the money there. You got a cat from thousands. He lives thousands of miles. He lives in Scotia. He lives in Ontario somewhere, running Jamaica by the press of a button, by a phone call. He's moving the money that our ancestors worked so hard for. We're going to read on. This is done at the expense of internal solutions to the development of these Caribbean states. The story of Canadian corporate ownership of financial institutions in the region is not new. IMF structural adjustment programs in the 1980s and 1990s solidified the region's banking center in the hands of Canadian corporations. Did you hear that? The IMF, International Monetary Fund, whose job it is to make sure that money gets to different nations, gave the financial structure of the West Indian Islands to Canada. Not Sister Nancy, not Jean-Jacques, not to the descendants or the mother and father of Troopers of Ayar Shamar. They didn't get the loan. You didn't get the loan for the patty shop. You didn't get the loan for the coconut milk shop. What are the other things Benjamites like? Oh, the root shop, the health food shop. Benjamites are into roots, making herbal medicine. You didn't get that loan. But some mud hut snake charmer from East India, the charmer, they make the cobra go up and down in the movies. Some cat on a rug, Aladdin, comes over, he gets the damn loan. He gets the loan. Mong Shuk from China, he gets the loan in Jamaica. The International Monetary Fund established your poverty. A world, this is the International World Monetary Fund, the world organization that gathers all the money, made sure you got none of the money. Don't tell me the West Indians are not the children of Benjamin. Don't tell me that the blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians aren't the Israelites. Why is a world entity, a world organization making sure that these islands are not financially stable? Because they know those records. Your records are buried in the Vatican. Now, they might have records and genealogies they didn't destroy. The records of the Central Americans is in the Vatican. Records of the Aztecs, Mayans. Hernan Cortez didn't burn that. That's what they say. He just destroyed it. They don't know anything about that. Aztecs, they show you one or two silly paintings of some Aztec that he drew as scratch. They show the scratch paper drawings the Aztecs had. Aztecs had shields. The shield of David that's on my shirt, Aztecs had this. You had this in Guatemala. All over the place, man.
Right.
The menorah, the Manara, this is all over Canada. This right here, all over Ohio. They got that in the Vatican, man. They know the records. That's why you have IMF making sure you're in poverty. And that's the point of slavery. The point of slavery is to make sure that a challenger is destroyed. All right? And they know you're the challenger. Of the 5 largest banks in Canada, 3 of them, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Nova Scotia, Scotia Bank, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, CIBC First Caribbean, operate in the FECC as dominant financial institutions acting as subsidiaries. Let me read on. Listen to this. The subsidiary status of Canadian banks in FECC, West Indian Islands, is of paramount importance because, unlike a foreign branch bank, a subsidiary is not required to give out loans to Caribbean companies. Boom. They don't have to give you a goddamn because of their subsidiary status. Now, you said you came up here for a better future. Came up here to avoid the poverty of the West Indian Islands. That was established by Canada. You're going to the exact place that made you poor. Canada is a slave plantation. And the West Indians are there because Canada wanted them there. The West Indians are in the UK, not by accident, because they wanted them there. And now the West Indians, many of us grew up in Regent Park. The West Indians in the UK grew up in what's that project in London? It's famous. Fenway, Peckham. West Indians in the UK are in Peckham. West Indians in Toronto are on Regent Park. Okay, I believe it's Peckham. I might be mispronouncing it. Okay, you can go check that out. That's a famous ghetto over there in the UK. Your poverty was established by corporation. These people are going to be destroyed. This is a curse according to the Bible. Officer Adiyar, you know what I want?
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
You don't lend to him. And in the case
shall be the heir.
And in the case of many West Indian islands, he didn't lend at all. He's in Jamaica. He doesn't have an obligation to give Sister Nancy, Peter Tosh, a penny. That is insane. That is slavery. How are you coming to somebody else's land? You don't have to give them any money. If I want to start a company in Canada because I'm not a Canadian citizen, I have to pay Canada tax. I can't just go in there and not give them anything. You get my point? If I become a bank and somebody wants a loan, I probably have to give it to them. Got to be some Canadian law that I can't discriminate. That's discrimination. They practice it financially, and that's why there are West Indians in Canada. Jane and Finch was planned. That didn't happen randomly. Regent Park was planned. That didn't happen randomly. Okay? You know what else is in the scripture? Psalm 83. They are confederate against thee. This isn't random. You didn't come to Canada because you thought you were coming because it's a better land. Look how much better it is. Oh, they funneled you in there like cattle. They funneled you in there in the West Indian Islands. Now, are we going to act just like, are we going to act like the slaves they want us to be there? Or are we going to transform sons and daughters of God? The Israelites. Are we going to keep the law?
Salakia, if I may, sir. Just like you're saying, it's so powerful because, let's take instance as 80. Like 80, we had our own rice. We could grow our own rice, and we was like giving our people our own rice. But ever since the Hillary Clinton Foundation was in 80, we stopped from making our rice. We had to buy rice from China or the United States, even our own rice, because we couldn't make our own things to eat. But they came in our country and they destroyed everything that we had. You understand? So even them, even the drugs, the drugs is shipped in 80, and we don't make drugs in 80. We don't make cocaine in 80, but we still have drugs in 80, and that's where the CIA and all of them, they bring the drugs in so it could be shipped in the United States. The guns as well. We still today. Still today, we have men having guns from the CIA in 80 in Cité Soleil. Cité Soleil is the place in Port-au-Prince where no one wants to go to. That's why exactly they bring the drugs. The CIA bring the drugs and the gun, and they put somebody in charge, then mess up the country. They don't want to help the country for real.
Exactly. All this is planned out. And it's in the scriptures. I'm going to read Revelation chapter 11, verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall send gifts to one another. Right? They'll give out loans. Right? They'll help each other. Because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. I'm going to read verse 9 as well. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. They wouldn't suffer our dead bodies to be put in graves. They see us poor and starving. How are you on a tropical island like Jamaica? You can't sell bananas. Are you kidding me? How are you Haiti, a tropical island, where you cannot grow rice? A Caribbean island that can't sell rice. Right. You damn near committing genocide against them. You can't reap, the funds from the natural resources that are present. The Bible says they would do this. They would make merry. They would send gifts. They would give out loans over our dead bodies in the places where we were destroyed. Why? Because we tormented the earth. We said, but pain and anguish on this earth, and the prophets, those two witnesses are coming back. The so-called Negroes, and the so-called Latinos and Native American Indians are the two witnesses. We're coming back, and what we say is going to torment
Right.
them. Tormenting them. You get my point? That's the breakdown on that. There are many more scriptures on it, on our poverty, them establishing poverty upon us. You can go to Lamentations, etc. I had to bring that out. That's going to be a video. You can say that every week. Canadian banks made West Indian Island poor. It's going to come out every week. I'm going to say that all the time. It's going to be like a reading. You get my point? When I go to Canada. All right. Questions. Young man Illich, you had a question?
Sir. Just bear with me for 1 sec. So it was regards to Colossians 3:11.
You can read it when you have it.
Got another one, sir. Read, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all. So my question is, is Christ in all and all? That's what I'm trying.
Anyone?
Shlaki, I can't hear nothing.
Get with it here, sir. Salakis.
I said, is Christ in? A brother asked a question. Colossians 3:11. He asked if Christ is in all. Is Christ in all? Is Yahushua, is he in everyone?
Lie, sir.
No. How do you know?
Because he's not in Esau, sir.
How do you know?
Because if we go to Malachi chapter one, it says God hates Esau. So if God hates Esau, Christ hates Esau as well, sir.
Not quite. That's correct. But you want to go to where Christ said it, because in this verse it says, give me 1 second. Christ is all and in all. So you would have to go to where Christ said he is not in all. Right?
Salaki, yes, sir.
Right.
If I may,
Darash?
could we take them to the verse where Christ explains who he came for?
Exactly. Any verse that says where he came for, you would have to show him. Well, look, he said here in Matthew 15:25, Matthew 10:5-6, that he's not coming to anyone else but the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So when it says he's in all, does that mean he's in everyone on the planet Earth? No, all is a relative term. You get my point? When it says he's in all in Colossians 3:11, he's in all Israel. Matthew, the first chapter of the New Testament lays it out. The first chapter of the New Testament cuts Immaculate Conception. It proves Immaculate Conception wasn't true. He had a mother and father. The first chapter in the so-called New Testament also says that he would save his people from their sins. Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. So when he's in all of his people. And when it says Jew or Greek, that's not any different people. The Jew and Greek in that verse is the same people. I'm going to prove it to you. This is the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary, page 824. It says Greeks are generally Generally, it's talking about a European, the Canadians, descendant of the Portuguese, descendant of the Spanish. But the word may be used to indicate non-Jews, foreigners, and aliens. So the word Greek, it's damn near like saying an American. Is there one race in America? Illich?
Nah, sir.
Salaki, sir, can you repeat that again? You're cutting out.
Is there only one race in America?
No, sir.
No. Is there only one race in Canada, in Toronto?
No, sir.
No, hell no. No. Toronto is one of the most diverse cities on earth. Okay, so there is no one Toronto race. So if I said there is neither Israelite nor Torontonian, if I said there's neither Israelite or Canadian, who am I talking about? Because there's hundreds of different ethnicities in Canada, right? If I were a servant of Yahushua, which I am, and I said Canadian, Canadians shall be saved, you know, Yahushua is in the Canadians in Canada, I would be talking to the West Indians in Canada, the Latinos, the Central Americans in Canada, the First Nations of Canada.
Right.
Because that's who
Right.
when it says Grecians, it's no different than Jew, and I'm going to prove that. Grecians were Greek-speaking Jews, folk of the dispersion from areas predominantly Greek. So just like we're enslaved in Canada, funneled into Canada through poverty, right? Through destruction, through fear of death. We were funneled into Greece as well. When you read, and we'll go into the history, but when you read First Maccabees, it said that they purchased the children of Israel for slaves during the time of the Maccabees. You had a portion of Israelites that were purchased as slaves. You had the so-called Latino Native Americans left the nation of Israel 700 years before that. Many of them went into South America, Central America, and migrated north. But you had a remnant that was all across there. A remnant that was in Babylon. A remnant that was in, Cyprus. A remnant that was in Rome, along with the Jews that were carried over there. That's who Paul was going to get, and that's who it's talking about when it says Christ is in all. When it says Jew and Greek, it doesn't matter if you're an Israelite that knows you're Israelite or you're an Israelite that lives like a Canadian. You get my point? Many of our people are Canadian.
Right.
Get high, we celebrate Canadian Day. Hell, if you ask them, they'll tell you what's your ethnicity. I'm Canadian. Oh, I know. I don't get into that. You know, I mean, people have told me that I'm American. They'll tell you that they are American, but their bloodline goes back to the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? Jews is who this is talking about. So it doesn't matter if you're an Israelite or you're a so-called West Indian who doesn't know they're Israelite. Get my point? They would be a Canadian. Thousands of years ago, they would be a Greek. So it doesn't matter whether you're an Israelite, whether you think you're a Canadian, whether you think you're a Greek, whether you think you're a barbarian, you're against Canadian culture or whatever, right? You're a Scythian, doesn't matter where you are. Yahushua is in all. And that plays out today as well. Doesn't matter where the Israelites are, Yahushua is with them. He's for them. So to answer your question, no, Yahushua is not in all. He's in the Israelites. And what Paul is saying, all Paul is saying here, it doesn't matter if you're an Israelite in the truth or an Israelite in the world, Yahushua is for you. He wants to bring you to him.
Right.
That's all I mean. Anyone else?
Salakia, sir, that reminds me, can we use a scripture for Colossians 3:11 where it talks about the uncircumcised? Can we use First Maccabees chapter 1 and 44 and 48 to prove who the uncircumcised are?
Yeah, where they compelled us to not get circumcised.
Khan.
Yeah, you can use that, and you can also just tell them there was no law for circumcision outside of Israel this time. You get my point? So anyone that was outside of, if you were in Rome, you were not circumcised. If you were in Corinth, you were not circumcised. If you were in Athens, you were not circumcised. So that's, again, it's talking about the Israelite. Yes, you can use that precept to show, look, here are Israelites that weren't circumcised. Paul was for these people, not for everyone. You can go to the bedrock scripture, Yahushua, the servants were only for Israel, teaching Israel, etc. Anything else?
Sir, Salaka, sir, I had a question, sir.
Go ahead.
I was talking to a Christian, and I wanted to get the breakdown. I get the breakdown on Revelation chapter 16, verse 2, where you talk about grievous sword. So what are the grievous sword? Like, if I may, I'm gonna read it, sir.
Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 2, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the man which had the mark of the beast and upon them which worship the image. So the question was, what are the noisome and grievous sores, sir?
It's illness. AIDS. Is AIDS not noisome? You get AIDS, you know, turning 90 pounds, 60 pounds soaking wet in a bed, dying, getting attacked with all different types of infections and bacteria and viruses. That's a noisome and grievous sore. AIDS, herpes, gonorrhea, the Spanish flu. That's a noisome and grievous sore. You get my point? When this angel poured out his vial on earth, he's doing something in heaven in the fourth dimension that's causing something physical to happen on earth. That's just, Revelation 16 chapter is all that. An angel, through our prayers, is pouring out the vials on the earth. When each vial gets poured, something happens in earth.
Right.
First, when the first angel poured out his vial, there's a foul and loathsome, just a noisome and grievous sore upon them that had the mark of the beast. You get my point? So this isn't one specific thing, if that's what he's asking. What you can tell him is, this first angel came and poured the vial out, people began to, drop dead of illnesses, began to have illnesses that they can't just wipe away now. Like AIDS is a good example. Like before AIDS, STD was just something, you just got. You went to go see a whore, you went to go see a prostitute, you got, herpes, you went burned up, you went to the clinic, they gave you something, you're good. You're back on the road. And then AIDS came. You can't do that with AIDS, with HIV. That was supernatural. That was the noisome and grievous sore that was poured upon them. Okay? Upon those that have the mark of the beast. Those that worship and do what Canada says. Homosexuality, one of them. Going to have sex with whores, going to massage parlors, another one. Etc. Being a lesbian, another one. You get my point? Those people, they got noisome sores on them now. So noisome, they have to take a pill called PrEP. You got to stay on a pill to hopefully get it down to undetectable levels. You have to live on a pill. That's noisome. That's grievous. Okay? So that's what that's talking about. When the first angel poured out his vial, it was like a sore that came out on everyone. Plagues and diseases came upon people that are Christians. Okay? The AIDS epidemic wiped out the choir. You can go tell them that too. The AIDS epidemic wiped out the choir, killed Christian pastors, just like the coronavirus is now. Now, if you get it, the coronavirus doesn't necessarily mean the Lord is against you. Just know this, that if you are against the Lord, the Most High, he'll be against you. And we'll find out. All right? Hopefully I answer your question, all right?
I don't want to come to water the other one.
Einabar, anyone else?
Salakia, sir.
Go
May
ahead.
I get a breakdown for Revelations 3:21? I'll read it right now.
Go ahead.
Khan. Revelations 3:21. To him that overcometh, I will grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame. I am set down with my Father in his throne.
You want to read it exactly as it's written, all right? So it says, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. What was your question on it?
Salakia, sir, I just wanted a breakdown. When I read it, it sounded like, to me, it sounds like if you, basically you struggle in the truth with Christ, like, and go through all the things that, not to say all the, like, in the truth, like, you might lose a family member because they think you're crazy.
Right.
So to me, it sounded like if you go through that stuff and you struggle and you stick with the truth, that good things will happen for you.
Yeah, well, okay, not good things. This is more than that. To him that overcometh, will I grant to sit with me in my throne. If you overcome this world, you win this battle. If you win this battle, you sit with Christ, Yahweh, on his throne. Meaning what? A throne symbolizes what? Power. If you sit next to the cat on the throne, you got power. If you overcome, you're gonna have power. You gotta overcome Canada. You got to overcome weed and the plug man on the block. You have to overcome the Thai massage parlor and the strip club, and then loose women. You get my point? You got to overcome that. Not do it. Not be an alcoholic. Not be a drug addict. Okay. Stay in the truth. Strive and persevere. Be a man of your word. Okay. Overcome.
Right.
You'll rule with Yahushua. One precept is on Revelation 20:4, where it says, if you rule with me now, I think it's in the regeneration, you'll sit on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what it's talking about.
Right.
If I could go a step further on that precept, okay, every tribe, now don't quote me on which tribe, but every tribe will have to answer to one of the 12 apostles. So you have Peter, John, Mark, Luke, Thaddeus, Philip, Andrew. They're going to be over each tribe. So each tribe is going to have one of the 12 to answer to. You get my point? That's about all I can say on it. I don't know who's going to be over what. You can't say that means that each one of the 12 are from different tribes. They could have all been Jews. You get my point? They may not have all been Jews. You get my point? But the point is that they'll be over judging the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 apostles. All right? The 12, first 12 students of Yahushua will be over every tribe. So there'll be an apostle over Benjamin, one over, Yahushua will be over Judah. And you have an apostle that he or one of his students that he answers to, Zebulun, Reuben, Gad, etc. All right. To answer your question, you overcome your rule, even as he overcame. He overcame. All right. And he's sat down right now. He's with his father. Meaning what? I'm already here. That's what he's saying. I'm already here. I'm set down with my father. If you overcome, you'll get it. All right.
Salakia, sir.
Come on, sir.
I was just wondering if I might add a precept. If I'm wrong, correct me. That is the same thing like what he brought out. It's in Revelation chapter 2 and 26. It says, "And he that overcometh and keep my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as vessels of potter that be broken to shivers."
Boom, that's it. And that's going a step further, showing you how you're going to rule. It's not going to be democratic. Oh, let's all vote for the vote for the new this and the new that. You're going to say something and people are going to obey you. That's it. And if they don't, they're going to get hit with a rod of iron. You hit a cat with an iron bar, he's pretty well damaged. That bar is not going to break. It's going to rule over the nation. It's going to be fierce. They think they've seen dictatorships and all that. They haven't seen anything yet. Okay, it's going to be brutal, and it's going to have to be brutal to stop the Chinese from eating bat. They drop him dead. They opened up China, and guess what's back open? The wet markets. They're back to selling bat. They didn't get enough. They're going to have to be beaten to stop eating bats. Canada's going to have to be beaten. Arabs are going to have to be beaten to not have sex with boys. They do that. That's Islamic culture in Afghanistan. They're going to have to be beaten to stop doing that. They're going to have to be beaten to stop marrying 6 and 9-year-old girls. The Muslim Arabs. They have to be beaten into that. Okay? That's what's going to happen. That's how it's going to go down. And everyone will be fine because of it. There will be no coronavirus shutting this down and closing up shop and all of that because of it. All right? So that's it on that.
Salakia, sir, I have one last question from me.
Okay.
And it's in Acts chapter 26 and 28. And I want to know, Salakia, sir, I want to know, King Agrippa, is he a heathen? And if so, why did Paul say that he would wish that he were a fellow believer? I want to get the breakdown on that.
Go to the scripture, Acts
26, verse 28, sir.
Okay.
It says, "Then Agrippa said unto Paul, Almost thou persuadest me to be a Christian." Verse 29, and Paul said, "I would to God that not only thou, but also all that hear me this day were both almost and altogether such as I am." So I want to get why he told, I want the breakdown for why he told Agrippa that he could be like him.
Yeah, well, the first thing is that you have to understand is Agrippa is a devil. He is not an Israelite, King Agrippa. And what Paul is doing is what you're going to have to do in Canada. You're going to have to do it with the Toronto Police Service, maybe the RCMP or whoever we have to go and stand before to explain why we read the Bible. because reading the Bible apparently incites, that you're a hate group or something. But in any event, the short answer, Paul was trying not to go to jail. The scripture, Yahushua said, agree with thy adversary quickly while thou art in the way. Or he cast thee into prison. He was agreeing with him. He was doing what we need to learn, and that is he was charming a snake, a serpent. The slave master, the so-called Romans, the so-called Europeans, they are the serpent, the devil. And just like a man plays a flute to make the cobra come up, the cobra doesn't bite him, that's what you have to be with Europeans. Playing the flute. There's a scripture in Proverbs that says a serpent will bite without enchantment. They're a serpent. And what Paul is doing is charming him. That's all he's doing. He's using his wits to not go to jail. He's agreeing with his adversary quickly, and he's explaining to him why he shouldn't be thrown in jail when his people are trying to get him killed. That's all. He's just trying not to go to jail. That's all. He's agreeing with his adversary quickly. He would never fish Agrippa into jail because he was only for Israelites. All right?
Perfect. The water, sir.
Is that it? I'll wrap up.
Kind of walk on.
With that being said, with the ISUPK, I want to say Tawada for all the brothers that tuned in. That for me is a big help. All right. Tawada Officer Adiyar, I got the ISUPK Quebec page up and running. Good work. All right. Tawada for having me on ISUPK. Check out Officer Adiyar on ISUPK Quebec. Win your classes. Let them know. Officer Adiyar.
Kind of walk on.
Yeah, when your classes, let them know when your classes are in French.
So like sorry, my class is speaking Quebec, and I got a little episode that's talking about the New Testament is for the Israelite on Monday from 5 to 6, and on Wednesday we have the weekly class that starts from 6 to 8, but that's in French. Then we have exactly the weekly class in English on Saturday exactly from 3 to 5.
3 to 5 Saturday, ISUPK Quebec law class. Wednesday 6 to 8, and you've got the New Testament series he put together in French, which is excellent. 5 to 6. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. That being said, with the ISUPK again, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right. Again, move for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be students only. They're here to set themselves to the world. All right. Again, tithes, which is a commandment. 10% of any of your increase to be given to the school. All right. That's in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. So just 10%. That's it. That's what's required by the law in the scriptures. All right. Check out our updates on ISUPK.com. The Passover is moved. Okay. The Westchester County Center where we're going to have the Passover is now a cemetery. Okay. They've got COVID-19 patients in there dropping dead. So we want to clear them out, sanitize it, have the Passover. So stay tuned for that. It'll just get pushed back a month, just like the law prescribes. All right. Passover. Anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, wear all black, boot, shirt, pant, headband, scarf. With that being said, Majum, Sam, we're just going to call it. I'm Majum Shabbat. I'm Majum. Baruch. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat. Yadim Matah, which means hands down. Class is dismissed.